I've always thought shadows were just shadows, simple absences of light, tethered to us, mimicking our every move. I never gave them a second thought. Not really. They were just part of the scenery of life, like the air we breathe or the ground beneath our feet. But that all changed one night, a night that started so mundanely, so utterly normal, that its strangeness still sends a shiver down my spine. I was at home, winding down after a long day. The house was quiet, filled with the comfortable silence that settles in after dark. I got up from the couch, deciding to head to bed. The only light was the soft glow from the TV, casting long, dancing figures on the walls. I walked towards the hallway that led to my bedroom and flicked on the light switch. It stretched out, a dark silhouette on the pale floorboards, its head touching the far wall at the end of the hall. Nothing unusual about that, right? It's just physics. It's just how light and shadow work. I took a step forward, and my shadow moved with me, shortening slightly as I got closer to the light source behind me. I took another step, and that's when it happened. For a split second, I felt a disconnect, a strange lag. My body moved, but my shadow, it seemed to move faster. It surged forward, independent of my own pace. Before I could even fully process the thought, it happened again. It was like it was eager to get to the end of the hallway. It touched the wall, the entire asterisk silhouette of its head and shoulders flat against the paint a full second before my next footfall even landed. My heart began to pound in my chest. A cold, prickly sensation washed over me. This wasn't right. I stood frozen in the middle of the hallway, my own body a statue of disbelief. I stared at the dark shape of myself plastered against the far wall. It looked solid, too dark. It wasn't just a patch of less light. It felt like a hole had been burned into reality. My mind raced, trying to find a logical explanation. A trick of the light, a second, unseen light source, a strange reflection from a window I hadn't noticed. I craned my neck, looking for any possible cause, but found none. The only light was the single, naked bulb directly behind me. There were no windows in the hallway, no mirrors, nothing that could create such a bizarre optical illusion. My breath hitched. Slowly, carefully, I decided to test it. I took one deliberate step back, away from the wall. My shadow should have retreated with me, stretching out again, pulling back from the wall as I moved away. It didn't. It stayed right where it was, standing upright against the wall at the end of the hall, a perfect, life-sized silhouette of me, just waiting. My own shadow, the one that had been attached to me my entire life, had detached itself. It had won the race to the wall, and now it was standing there, patiently, as if it was waiting for me to catch up to it. The silence of the house was no longer comfortable. It was heavy, suffocating. Every tiny creak of the floorboards sounded like a gunshot. The air grew thick and cold. I was staring at a dark copy of myself that had defied the laws of physics. I don't know how, but I knew, with a certainty that chilled me to my very bones, that it was aware. My legs felt like lead. Should I run? Should I turn off the light? What would happen if I plunged the hallway back into darkness? Would it disappear, or would it just be free in the dark, untethered from any light source, able to move wherever it wanted? The thought was paralyzing. I stood there for what felt like an eternity, locked in a silent standoff with my own silhouette. My mind was screaming, but my body wouldn't obey. I thought about my whole life, about every time I'd casually glanced at my shadow, never realizing the potential it held. Was this something that could happen to anyone, or was I special? Was I being haunted by my own darkness? Then, it moved. Not its whole body, just its head. It tilted it, slightly, to the side. A curious, questioning gesture. A gesture I myself had made 1,000 times without thinking. But seeing it performed by this flat, two-dimensional void was the most terrifying thing I have ever witnessed. It was mimicking me, but not in real time. It was as if it was accessing my memories, my mannerisms. That single, simple movement broke the spell. A jolt of pure adrenaline shot through me. I didn't think, I just acted. I scrambled backward, stumbling over my own feet, my eyes never leaving the figure on the wall. I fumbled for the light switch, my fingers trembling so badly I could barely find it. My hand slapped against the wall, once, twice, and then click. Darkness. Absolute, complete darkness. My heart was a drum against my ribs, so loud I was sure it could be heard throughout the house. I was panting, sucking in air that felt too thin. I stood there, blind and terrified, listening for what? A footstep, a whisper, the sound of something dark sliding along the walls toward me. There was nothing. Only the sound of my own ragged breathing and the frantic beat of my own heart. I backed into the living room, turned on every single light, and sat on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, until the sun came up. I watched the first rays of morning light stream through the windows, chasing away the shadows, and I have never been so grateful to see the dawn. Since that night, things are different. I can't look at shadows the same way. Every time I see my own stretching out beside me, a part of me tenses up, waiting for it to move just a little too fast, to twitch when I'm standing still. I find myself walking in the brightest parts of the street, avoiding alleys, and I have more lamps in my house now than I know what to do with. I can't stand the dim, transitional light of dusk and dawn, when shadows grow long and bold. I know it sounds crazy. I know you're probably thinking it was a hallucination, a waking dream, a trick of a tired mind. I've tried to convince myself of that 100 times, but I can't shake the feeling, the cold, hard certainty of what I saw. My shadow detached itself. It moved on its own. It waited for me. And the most terrifying part is, I still don't know what it was waiting for. I do want to know what would have happened if I had walked all the way down that hall and caught up to it. What happens when you reach out and touch your own independent shadow? Do you get it back, or does it get you? So next time you turn on a light and see your shadow jump ahead of you, watch it. Watch it closely, because you never know. One day it might not come back, and you'll be left standing there, just like I was, wondering if your shadow finally got tired of following and decided it was time to lead. Thanks for listening. If you've ever experienced something you can't explain, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe for more. Stay safe, and maybe, keep a flashlight handy.